Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I just want to make a commentary on the coming final round of the supposed election season. And of course, now this week we have the GOP convention in Florida, which is nothing but a hate-filled diatribe of idiocy, lunacy, and fucking retarded mentality. And the only difference you're going to see between this complete fucking malarkey that is being presented as your so-called future in comparison to the Democrats' convention next week is the style under which they operate. And while you have the GOP people towing the line that everyone must be killed, murdered, raped, gutted, and pillaged for the benefit of the business community, that is, i.e. Wall Street and the very rich, on the Democratic side they're going to tout Obama's accomplishments and how he has more to do in his re-election to the presidency. While in reality, Obama has worked tirelessly for the benefit of the very same people that the GOP hold as their standard bearers and the ones that they are striving to make more rich. So, as I look at this accumulation of mental deficients who go on and on and on justifying their evil, malicious, greedy, avarice, and disgusting fucking rhetoric and fucked up mental bias, women-hating, etc., etc., it just makes me want to not be involved in the system. And that's why I again abjure all of you to not vote, because we do not have a stake in the political system in this country anymore. All we have are puppets for international bankers and multinational corporations. And the notion that somehow voting for a candidate simply because there is a vague sense that he might possibly be a little bit better in the grand scheme of things than the other candidate is just a ludicrous proposition as far as I'm concerned. So in reality, there is no difference between all of these candidates. Okay? And the reality is that while the GOP is very open about their hatred, biases, and idiosyncratic behavior, the Democrats are more subtle about them. But they have them as well. And just remember that both of these groups serve the same masters. And those masters are not you. They never have been you. They never will be you. And if you operate under the assumption that you can have any action within this polity, then you are sadly fucking mistaken. So if there's anything to be gained or learned from looking at the politics of today, it is that you do not have a fucking voice at all. At all. Your influence is fucking nil unless you have a suitcase full of fucking money to give to your pet fucking candidate. And if you do not have a suitcase full of fucking money to give to your pet puppet fucking candidate, then you do not have a say in anything, and your vote is meaningless. And for any of you hangers-on who are still clinging desperately to the idea of Ron Paul and the horrible treatment that he is receiving at the convention with his delegates and all of the other things surrounding his sham, phony, bullshit fucking campaign. Get the fuck over it. This is the way the game works. He's a sham fucking candidate. He always has been. He's never going to stand up for you because you have some sort of distorted Ayn Randian fuck everybody else as long as I get my own shit. Fuck the government, make it as small as the fucking town council and let big business run rampant over me, motherfuckers. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about any of the ideals he's espoused for years. It's only his shtick, you fucking idiots. Wake the fuck up. If you have a problem with it, get the fuck out of there. And as far as all the other shenanigans going on there, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Throwing nuts at a black camera person and saying that's how we treat animals around here. You know, the indecency of the Paul thing, which I think is all just a ploy to make it seem like Paul can leave a sort of legacy when he drifts off to his comfortable mansion with his tons of gold and into retirement, so that he is not left with egg on his face in this entire affair. If you're surprised, you are totally fucking clueless. You're totally clueless. The only thing that I am disappointed by is that Mother Nature did not decide to send the hurricane in to the Republican convention to fucking drown and flood the motherfucking place and wash out all the filth and scum. And then, next week, hang around, build up strength again, and hit the fucking Democratic fucking convention, which will be full of the same old shills, the same lies, and the same hope and promises that will never come to pass. And in fact, we will see the exact opposite. And just realize there is absolutely no difference between these people. They are all about serving the same motherfucking interests. And they will never be you! Never! Never! Unless you start dumping the cash out. That's the way the system works. At the end of the day, it's all about business and money. If you have the money, you can do business. If you have the money, you can control the Republic. It's the way it's always been. Rich, white elitists have controlled this country from its very founding. That's why I say we're a corporation. Always have been. I choose not to participate in this. But I will sit back and I will make commentary from time to time on the differences that are presented on an esoteric level, or excuse me, an exoteric level to the public at large. In other words, the continued idiocy and the stupid fucking, just absolute mental blockage that causes people to continue to spout the same kind of bullshit nonsense that has been propagandized into their head for years. And they're just simply unable to get over that barrier and understand that they're being played. And they have been being played for decades. You've been handed an entire slate of propaganda, which has been designed to foster beliefs in you that are counter to your own ideas of morality. And you can't even understand that. Most of these people in the GOP have certain ideologies that they hold fast to, even though their personal morality doesn't agree with it. And yet they'll justify their positions using cognitive dissonance. The same is true for the stupid fucking Democrats. You know, there is still that idea that there's a great deal of people out in the public sphere who, for some reason, don't like unions. And they still cling to this notion that somehow unions are a bad thing. And of course, that's very strong within the libertarian John Birch fucking fuck you, everything's fucking communist, fucked up bullshit ideas that they come up with. That's de rigueur and standard for them. But to see it within rank and file people who are everyday fucking workers. I want someone to tell me how it's bad for groups of employees to join together to collectively bargain with their employers. How is that bad? And when you have a contract, and when you have a motherfucking contract, how is it that all of these fucking people will tell you that you have to be responsible for your contractual obligations, but if a fucking labor organization makes a fucking contract with a fucking employer, somehow that can go up in smoke tomorrow because we simply can't fulfill our obligations. What the fuck? Is this cognitive dissonance at its worst possible fucking place? Of course. This is the kind of thing that pervades our society. It pervades it. So when I look at the conventions happening, the Republican Fear Fest and the anti-Obama, well, you know, you can't really be for Obama, can you? So, you know, what's the big deal about that? Because he's done nothing but be an empty suit of bullshit and rhetoric. What do you see? The same tired, ridiculous ideologies being put forward. And of course, this year, we have the pleasure of seeing the most extreme forms of the far-right lunatic fringe being highlighted at this convention. Yes, we hate gays. By God, women don't deserve any fucking rights. Let's make them barefoot and pregnant and in the fucking kitchen. And oh, by the way, rape is no different than, or having a baby while being, or as a result of rape, is no different than having a baby out of wedlock. Thank you, representative from PA, joining the Todd Aiken camp of legitimate rape. And all of the other rhetoric just spun out to its most idiotic degree. And maybe when Mitt Romney comes out to accept the nomination, maybe he'll just wear a fucking little Adolf Hitler fucking outfit. And maybe when Obama comes out to accept his nomination, he'll wear a Mussolini outfit because he does affect the Mussolini pose very much in his photography. And that should not go without notice. This sort of haughty, up in the air, sort of Roman emperor-ish attitude of his. So, you know, my only goal is to try to point out these things, and hopefully some people will come to a realization that, God damn it, we're being played. And these people who still buy into this system, and they chant, USA, USA, and they're sitting there actually enthusiastic about their fucking candidate, as if that fucking candidate is going to do something to benefit you. Jesus, give me a fucking break, would you? Can you get your head out of your ass? Can you get past the compartmentalized propaganda that has made you into the fucking thankless, thinkingless zombie that you are today? That's the only thing I hope to do. And if there's even one person that says, hey, wait a minute, why am I enthusiastic about Mitt Romney? Or, hey, wait a minute, you know what, now that I think about supporting Obama, I'm not so sure. Well, by God, you better not be. Because unless you are a major financial institution, or a member of the board of directors of Goldman Sachs, or on the Federal Reserve Board, or one of the Walmart executives, you do not have a dog in this fucking show. Period. So enjoy the fear, the anti-gay rhetoric, the I hate women rhetoric of the Republicans, and then when the Democrats come in next week, please sit down and enjoy how much we've accomplished. Nothing, but of course that will be spun out to all kinds of wonderful things. And then talk about the hope and change for the future if you just give Obama 4 more years so that he can slowly grind us into the dust, whereas the Republicans would just start chopping right at the base. So we all end up wearing sackcloth and ashes, pulling our hair out while we work a little plot of land, sharecropper style, for our local corporate feudal overlords. And of course, this is the end result of the Democratic platform and establishment as well. It just might come a little bit more slowly into your life rather than the abrupt change that the Republican Party would want to achieve. The end results are the same. The methods by which they go are slightly different, but you'll notice that they're becoming more and more closely aligned. And it will not be long before the parties drop all pretense of any difference between them, because they will all be touting the exact same things. The negative ads against one campaign will be the same exact negative ads that are portrayed against them. And the positive accomplishments of one campaign will be the exact same thing as the positive accomplishments of the other. And the platforms will be nearly identical except for fringe topics like abortion and other things that really have nothing to do with governing a country. You understand? And when they trot out these so-called differences, it's only meant to appeal to very radical fringe elements of their own groups. And it has nothing to do with actual running of the country or doing anything politics-wise that is going to be beneficial or negative or whatever way you want to look at it towards the general populace as a whole. So, you know, it's largely meaningless. And I understand they're very strong personal convictions, and I understand your thoughts on those particular topics. But really, in the grand scheme of things, what does that have to do with running the nation? What does that have to do with getting our economy back? What does that have to do with reining in corporate abuses? What does that have to do with solving the homeless crisis? What does that have to do with solving the jobless crisis? What does that have to do with getting children out of fucking poverty? At the end of the day, those are things that the government should be focused on. Those are things that the president should be standing for. So, end of rant for today. Thank you, Window Kitty, for attending. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.